Let's talk about the biggest mistakes new growers can make in their grows, and that can even get an experienced grower like me. You think you're helping your plants, but you're actually hurting them. Come on, let's talk about it. But before we do, today's video is brought to you by Real Growers Grow Dots, the easiest way to feed your high-value plants. You mix Grow Dots in once at the beginning of your grow, and they feed your plants all the way to harvest. You don't have to worry about nutrient burn or nutrient lockout. Grow Dots does all the hard work for you. Check them out over at realgrowers.com. And while you're there, use coupon code Scotty420 to get 20% off your first order. Now let's get back to the show. Come on, Hasi, you know what it is?
I do, because I've made at least one of these mistakes in the past.
Oh, you're looking at one. I'm a moron.
A moron.
I like to pour more on. If something's wrong, I actually have made these mistakes before, and we should talk about it. If something's not working, don't just pour more on and think that it's going to work.
But that's the first instinct. Oh, the plant looks weak. It looks a little bit faded. Maybe I should pour some more of something on.
Sure. But it's a lot of times it's really the case that there's too much of it on there, and it can absolutely cause problems. We can get into some specific examples.
Yeah, so what's the first thing? You've called this overloving your plants
It
before.
is.
What's the first way that people overlove their plants?
Just pouring more nutrient on. Going and saying, oh my gosh, I have some kind of a magnesium deficiency. I better go get magnesium and pour it on. Let me pour some Epsom salts on. And meanwhile, you've got so much of everything else. Maybe your calcium or whatever is blocking that magnesium out. So you've just got too much of something and it's out of balance. It's not that you need more magnesium. You need less of your base fertilizer or less of your CalMag. But yeah, just pouring more on isn't going to solve the problem.
And that's because just because the plant can't uptake something doesn't mean that there's not enough of it in the soil, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about, that's why calcium and magnesium are always put together, because they're super bonded. They're double positive charge that want to bond to that soil particle. So you need them in the right proportions. Also, they're double bonded. They'll push a bunch of stuff. They'll push potassium. They'll push a bunch of nutrients right off the soil particle, off the exchange site, and it'll really screw up your nutrients. So having everything in balance is absolutely key.
Okay, and you mentioned at the beginning of this video, this isn't just a mistake that new growers make.
Yeah, I've fallen for it myself, man. Yeah, 45 grams is the right dosage of Grow Dots for a 3-gallon container. I went 60, 75, 90, and guess what happened? The more I added, the worse the plants looked. And I kind of understand that it's because there's so much nutrient being released in that root zone. If the plant can't uptake it, it sits in there and it causes problems. It messes with the pH and, yeah, it just generally causes problems because you want the right amount of food in the right proportions and the right amount or volume of it, right? So basically, if your plant is having a deficiency, don't just pour more on. Take a look, see what that deficiency is. If the problem is one nutrient is being blocked by another nutrient, then pouring more on isn't going to help anything.
Okay, this is the one coming up that I actually dealt with when I first started growing, which I thought plants just needed water, and if they didn't get enough water, they'd look kind of wimpy. My plants looked wimpy. I added more water and it made them worse.
I mean, all this, we can humanize this if we want, but yeah, we need water as well. We need nutrients as well. If you give me too much to eat, it's going to mess me up as much as if you give me too little, probably even more. If you give me too much water to drink, it is going to mess me up as much as if I'm thirsty. You're basically just drowning me. The same way if you just saturate already saturated soil, you're just drowning those plant roots. Those plant roots need air and water in the right combination. Same way we do, right?
Yeah, so what happened when I did it was the roots actually got sick and they started looking real. I pulled the plant out and the roots looked all mushy and nasty.
You will drown them. It's so simple. You will drown those roots. They need air surrounding them. Like I said, there's aerobic activity that goes on. What do? We lighten up soil. We like cocoa because it holds a bunch of air, the air to water ratio. That is key when you're building a soil. So Overwatering, it's very, the same type of thing as, oh, it doesn't look good. Let me add some more nutrient to it. Let me add some more chemical. It doesn't look good. Let me add some more water to it. And by the way, most of these nutrients are liquid. So when you're adding them in, you've got to water them in. And I've been so guilty of it. Something's wrong. Let me water CalMag. Let me water some Epsom salts. And it's not going to help. You're going to be drowning them. And what that will lead to is root rot. Once you've got these drowned dead roots, they're going to start rotting. And then that's when we talk about anaerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria, those are the good nutrient cycles that live in your soil. The anaerobic bacteria are the decomposers. Those are the ones that are going to rot and just ruin your soil and bring disease.
Yeah, that's what ended up happening to mine, and it ended up killing my plant, and I felt like such an idiot.
Yep.
I felt like a moron.
Ah, you got it, man. You got it.
Okay, this next one kind of confused me when I saw the show notes because I thought both of these, I didn't know if there was a risk of adding too much of either of these.
Light, definitely. There's definitely a risk adding too much light. You burn your plants, you bleach your plants. I just have seedlings coming up, and about 11 o'clock last night, I was like, oh no, the lights are too bright. And I put my slippers on and came out back here, and I lowered the lights down a little bit because too much light on seedlings will kill them. Too much light on clones will kill them. And then there's too much light for plants to where you're like, oh, I'm just wasting my money. I'm wasting energy. Don't forget plants and CO2. They've got that relationship. Light's the energy for them to build themselves with the CO2. So if you've got a whole bunch of light and not enough CO2, well, you're just wasting your energy. If you're on the opposite, if you're just cranking up the CO2, I got a bottle of CO2, I crank it up to 1400 ppfd. Or ppm, I'm sorry, and I only have 800 ppfd of light. Well, I'm wasting my energy. I'm wasting that CO2, I should say. So matching them up, yeah, it's a big mistake. That's where the rule of thumb comes in, or I have a very simple, probably an oversimplification, but I try to match my light with my CO2. The CO2 is always a couple hundred parts per million higher. So ppfd is light. And if I'm at 600 ppfd of light, you'd be at 600, 800 ppm of CO2. When I go to 800 ppfd of light, go up to like 1,000 parts per million of CO2. My grow's pretty dialed in. I've got at 1,200 ppfd of light, and I've got up to 1,500 parts per million of CO2. So I'm matching them because I'm not going to waste the CO2 unless I have enough light energy to use it to fix that CO2. Hey, so those are my top 3 ways how you can overlove your plant. 2 of them will really damage your plant. 1 of them is just a waste. But come on, what about you? You ever made one of these mistakes? Let me know in the comments. And I see if they like this video, they should hit the like button, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hit that subscribe button. They should share this video with another grower they know. And of course, check out the other couple videos YouTube's recommended. We think you'll dig them.